What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. I am Jeremy Johnson. Tonight, as you can tell, we are remote. It's myself, Jim Range, Craig Nasello, producer Matt behind all of it. So, guys, it's been a heck of a week for all of us here. But Jim, what's going on in the Range household that we're all remote again?
We're all remote. Well, let's just say we had some family members over for Super Bowl, and a couple of them got impacted. So we're being safe. Everybody's feeling well in the house here, but didn't want to risk getting anybody else sick.
Glad we didn't come over for Super Bowl then.
Yeah, no kidding. So what you're telling me here, Jim, is that you were involved in the super spreader event that the government was talking about. Wow.
I don't think I was involved in it because they didn't get it here, but
The Super
technically
Bowl
they
spreader?
can say it.
Well,
Did you cover the spread?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was going to get COVID from it? Well, big thanks to everyone who is tuning in here. Let us know if you have any comments in our chat room here on Facebook. Good to see the guys from Kentucky popping in again here to check out the show with us. You know, it's been a heck of a week, Craig. I know that you lost the porn stash Twitter poll, but I see that it's still there.
I don't do Twitter. So I don't give a fuck.
But you're looking good with the porn stash. I mean, I was thinking maybe a little facial hair, maybe not,
No.
but nope, just going.
That's all I have. That's as good as it gets. Right there. I'm gonna see how it goes over the weekend at the show. I got Nemesis Fighting Alliance this weekend in Arnold. So
where's that at?
Arnold, Missouri. Sorry, at the Eagles Hall, or I think it's the Eagles Hall in Arnold, Missouri.
I got
so. Be a little fun. And in fact, I get to see producer Matt down there, don't I? I got a thumbs up from Matt.
Very nice. Very nice. One day, producer Matt's going to show up on screen with us.
He needs to at least to speak. I mean, he doesn't have to show up on screen to speak. I'm looking at his games behind his back. I'm like, I'm impressed. I kind of want to come over and play D&D with him now. I mean,
well,
anyway,
it's been one of those kind of weeks, and I was in a pretty good car accident. It was kind of rough, but you know what? We're all gonna have a drink because of it, except for Craig, because he's still got business to attend to tonight.
That's right.
Jimmy, what are you drinking?
Well,
I went back to work this week. Yeah,
that's no fun.
Yeah, 4 months off.
Yeah. Well, I wanted something I hadn't had in a while, so I opened up a George T. Stag. But then I'm thinking, you know what? Let's go something really different, because it's not very often that I can have the Stag, but it's only the 116.9 proof.
Oh,
so it's
you
really
got a
low
new
for
bottle.
George T. Stag.
Little new bottle.
So it's a newer bottle. But I also gave myself a pour of Blanton straight from the barrel, which is at 129 proof.
Well,
so
that's not bad.
So, what did you guys think of the little finds I was finding this week on my new route?
Oh, you did pretty good.
You did real well.
It's only a couple. I mean, and I think there's more. I just haven't had time to sit and look and go through all these liquor stores inventory. But I think one guy might have a bottle of Blanton's, but he's like, oh, I go, how much do you want for it? They're like, probably $250. I'm like, no.
And that's what's wrong with the world right there. Oh my God.
No, I'll give you $68.99.
Good call.
I can get it at my local Schnucks when it comes in. I'm drinking Mountain Dew.
Well,
I'll be down in Black Rifle Coffee here in a little bit.
But
nothing wrong with that.
You know what Mountain Dew is created for, don't you? Jeremy, you want to speak to it?
Absolutely. Mountain Dew was originally created as a mixer for bourbon whiskey. It came out of the hills. That's why they actually called moonshine in the beginning Mountain Dew. That was the official mixer at one point in time.
Was it for Jack Daniels or bourbon whiskey?
Don't jump the gun.
Don't jump the gun, but that is a so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be tackling the toughest issue among the three of us.
That Jeremy's wrong.
Oh, you're against me too. Okay, all right.
No, I don't care.
Tonight, well, I know it's your drink of choice though. Tonight, we are talking, is Jack Daniels bourbon? Let us know in the comments what you think, or on Twitter at MMA Bourbon. But of course, first, guys, we always got to make a drink. And tonight, I'm making you a classic. I'm going to do the classic sidecar, which is generally, it's not a bourbon cocktail. It's actually normally a brandy, but we're going to do it with bourbon tonight because it makes it great. So shaker with ice.
Is that like a side chick?
Kind of, sort of. But
Okay.
we're going to go in with 1.5 ounces of bourbon. And tonight, I am using a real interesting one that I picked up. And that is a Texas bourbon. And that is Balcones out of Texas. It's an original pot still bourbon, which means that it's done in an all copper pot. No,
I thought it was like mixed with pot.
No, that's the hemp stuff. And actually, we could do a show on that sometime. I had some of the CBD one, and it's terrible. But no, so we're going to go 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Next up, 0.75 ounces of triple sec or Cointreau, whichever one that you have. I had triple sec. Next up, we are going to go with 0.75 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice. All right, drop that in there in the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a good shake. That's right. I can shake it like this while we're talking, have a drink, all good.
Why are you only using one hand?
Because I broke my other hand in the car wreck there. Thanks, Craig. All right, what we're gonna do next? We're gonna strain that into our glass.
Jimmy knew
That's
what I
why
was
you
going
use
for.
that mixer instead of
I know that's why.
when you seal.
Exactly, because that way I can fit it in my hand. Garnish with a lemon wedge right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the classic sidecar. Go check it out, and we will get you the recipe to that. Go check it out on our TikTok and on Twitter. And I'm going to enjoy this one because let me tell you something. They're really good.
You know, I feel like the cops off of Super Troopers right now, you know, when at the very beginning, when he's in the bar doing the shots of the whiskey, and they're just standing there like,
And you're the one left.
Yeah, and I, you know, can't drink, you know, whatever. I see how it is.
That's right.
I'm
But
gonna move these shows to Fridays.
there you go. There you go. No, but great cocktail, sidecar, old and classic. Check it out. A lot of fun, a lot of taste. Also tonight, my pour, as we were talking pours, I am going with last year's Woodford Reserve Masters Collection, the chocolate malted rye. Great tasting, looking at coming in about 90 proof, so very easy drinking. It's good stuff, but looks like the cocktail was a big hit in the chat room here also. But again, guys, we are talking something that has kind of become a little point of controversy here between all of us. And this really kind of started with Jimmy and I, and then we've involved some other people. Craig is, of course, a huge fan of Jack Daniels. So, Craig, I'm going to let you start. What is it about Jack Daniels that you love?
It's just the consistency of the of every single bottle. It's the same. It doesn't change. So you know that from bottle to bottle, you're going to get the same taste, the same flavor, the same consistency. It's not that it's just my favorite. It's just sometimes when you want to make a drink, or you want to have, like, say you just want to have a rum and coke. If you mix it right, you're going to have the same drink every time. It's not going to be too bitter. It's not going to be too, you know. Sometimes when you get some of these barrel picks or some, you know, everything changes, you know. Fair. With bottle to bottle, you like, oh man, I love this. And then the next time you get it, you're like, man, this kind of tastes like shit, you know. I mean, it's just how it is. But with the Jack Daniels, I know it's highly produced, or, you know, it's production and all that, but it's that consistency that it keeps, you know.
Well,
is one of the things.
You're right.
I'm a creature of habit.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a person who sits and slams big distilleries for anything. My God, I mean, I like Bullet Rye, comes out of MGP. It's made by the millions in vats. But
right,
what we're talking about here is the labeling. So Jim Range, give me.
I wish Matt could bring up the labeling right now. I wish he could, just so we could have this argument.
Oh, okay. Jim Range here, though. Mm-hmm. It's all not bourbon, number one, but give me the thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
It's not bourbon. It's Tennessee whiskey. That's what it's labeled as. But they apply for their licensing under the class of bourbon as a straight bourbon. So by law, it's a bourbon, even though they're Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey is not identified as anything specific by law.
But, and they also, didn't we have this discussion when we did a Six Sip or Save on those flavored whiskeys
Yep.
or bourbons? Didn't they have like 3 different things on the apple one? Like on the one side of it said this, and on the front said that, and so it's like.
And the whole thing with Tennessee whiskey, that's their niche. It's the charcoal filtering. That's what stands them apart. But, and I'm gonna let Jeremy speak to that.
I think his head's gonna
that doesn't make them not a bourbon. They meet the requirements of bourbon, other than they call themselves Tennessee whiskey.
His head's gonna explode. I see his hair getting out of place.
No, my hair is fine. It was actually just mentioned in the comments. But no,
I can't see him.
Here's the thing. Okay. The mash and the American oak barreling meet the requirements to be bourbon. Where it loses is that now, once it has been distilled, it then drips straight through the charcoal before it ever makes it out of that particular area. The charcoal filtering is what gives Tennessee whiskey its thing.
It gives it its Tennessee.
It gives it its Tennessee. It's actually called the Lincoln County method of distillation.
Okay.
And so what it does is it starts from the fresh off the still, runs through that, and then the final processes come to get into the barrel, which is in the American oak barrels. That is an additional step that is not written into the laws that make it bourbon. Now, Jim, I know you're going off of a very famous bourbon guy's article that he put out. Fred Minnick put this out on his website, and it basically did the same thing that it's doing here. It pissed off a bunch of people.
It's a great talking topic, honestly. It's fun to stir shit up.
And everybody here's our special guest. I'm just kidding.
Well, he's supposed to be on coming up, so
no, that'd be better if we could do it behind Jeremy's back, and then he just comes in.
Even better. Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Okay, so I get it though that you're saying simply because Jack Daniel's is putting out their license under the law, under the name of bourbon, it's not. It's not. There is nothing on the packaging. There's nothing on the UPC code, and there's nothing on the SEC on the boxes that.
Are you positive? Are you positive?
Absolutely, I'm positive.
Yes. Positive, absolutely, 100% HIV positive.
There is no
absolutely.
There is no labeling for it. I mean, in our hearts, it's not bourbon. By law, it is.
It's not.
I'm looking. Matt's like, why?
Matt's Googling at the moment.
No. D&D.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. We actually have a poll going on Twitter. Is Jack Daniel's bourbon? Let us know your thoughts. I'm actually going to check the Twitter poll at the moment. And as of right now, no, it's not bourbon, according to our listeners. And that's a great thing because they're right along with me.
Yeah, you should put another poll up. Is it delicious? Yes. Does it matter? No.
Does it matter? No. And that's the best part about it.
Everybody has an opinion. It's like an asshole.
Fair. Final. Craig, is Jack Daniel's bourbon? Yes or no?
I don't give a shit.
Fair.
Honestly. I mean, it's delicious.
Yes or no?
I like it.
All right.
Yes, it is. By technically, if they are filing it as a bourbon, then I would technically say it's a bourbon. But your method of explaining it, I mean, I'm on the fence on both sides of it. I see both sides of it. Do I give a shit? No. But I see both sides.
All right. Jim Range.
Don't make me pick between mom and dad. And yes, you're the mom.
It's like I said, by heart, it's not. By law, it is.
Okay. It's not.
Producer Matt. He's got you
thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes or no? Is Jack Daniel's bourbon?
He's shaking.
Matt just is like no either.
Here's Matt.
He doesn't even want to. He doesn't want in it.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Is Jack Daniel's bourbon or not?
I like being able to see all four of us. It's kind of nice.
Kind of nice. Now, okay, Jim Raines, you brought up an interesting topic this week after a little travels that you had.
Yeah.
Let's talk about micro distilleries, something that's really, kind of close to my heart at the moment. So what, give us your thoughts. Give me the talk here.
So it seems to be, and we all do a fairly good job when we're out. We don't just hit the big distilleries. We try to get the locals. And when I was down in Herman a few weeks ago, ironically, we didn't make it to any wineries, but we hit a few distilleries. Shocking, right?
Right. I'm sure that lovely bride Stacy loved all of that.
Well, yeah. But what's interesting to me is you find out more and more. Well, one thing you see is we found this out last time we were in Louisville was distilleries are coming out and they start producing vodka as well as bourbon. So they can get cash flow going immediately because you don't have the aging process. But on top of that, what we're seeing is they're using 33-gallon barrels versus 50, and they're only aging for 2 years. So in a smaller barrel, it ages quicker because you got the liquid to wood ratio is different. But you've also got then at 2 years, which is the requirement. And I'm curious to see how it goes long term. Do they continue staying at a 2-year? Do they age 6, 8, 10-year bourbons? Because to me, the flavor profiles are very different. You don't get the depth that you've got. And some of these are winning awards, but you don't have the depth of flavor that you get with a 6, 8, 10-year in a 2-year. And it seems to be a little more harsh, may not be the right word, but it's a little sharper.
It gives it.
And I noticed that with all of them.
It's a younger, quote unquote, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's less mellow on the tongue. There's a little bit of sharpness to there's an alcohol presence to it. And so, yeah, that one has been interesting. I actually just bought a couple of 3-gallon barrels myself for some tests that I'm doing. And the aging is considerably different. There is so much less so much more surface area to deal with. There's less liquid in the barrel, and it changes the flavor profile much, much faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way of rapid aging in a jar with wood chips in it. A lot of people will do that. They do an electronic method where they actually shock the liquid. I think that this is probably the way that you are going to see younger distilleries getting a whiskey product to market. I think that, and they're not going to call them bourbons, I don't think. Some may, because they're meeting the timestamp, not for straight bourbon unless they're going that 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they're doing it, they're changing up the compound, the flavoring that really makes them what they are. So what happens after those sit for 5 years in a smaller barrel, which feels like 10 years? What is that going to do to the flavor? What do you think?
I'm not sure. Because right now they're all staying at 2 year to 2.5 years tops. I know what it's like when I make my Manhattans and I put them in a small barrel, 1 liter barrel. So I age them. I put it in for 2 weeks. That's about tops.
Sure. Because you end up with almost an over smoke.
It has a big enough impact on it there because of it. So
my question is, how long is Jack Daniel's bourbon aged?
6 years.
I couldn't pass it up.
Thank you, Craig.
You're
6
welcome.
years. Anyway, way to jump in. Jesus.
Is that really going to be like a 10-year though, Jeremy? I think that ratio in there, you're going to have it's probably going to be closer to 12 or 15, I would think, because over time with it, but you've also going to have, are you still going to have it tasting and feeling like something that would be that same age?
But why would the smaller barrel age it faster is what I don't understand.
You've got more wood ratio with the smaller amount of bourbon.
So in
Okay,
actual,
yeah, okay, I get it now. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
so I have a
Okay.
visual representation of that. So if you can all see this jar here, great brown color, right? That's 3 weeks of rapid aging technique. This is 120 proof distillate that I may or may not have made and have rapid aged. It now has the flavor profile of about a 4-year-old bourbon in 4 weeks. And it's all because there is such little surface area in the jar versus, or such little amount of liquid versus as much surface area of wood that I put into it. And within about a day or two, it actually changed color to about what you would think a cheap whiskey would be like about a 2-year Jim Beam. So I think that as these younger distilleries sit and age more, I think that we're going to see some really interesting whiskeys at about 4 to 5 years, especially if they're going to keep them in that half the size of a 53-gallon barrel. So I think it's going to have some pretty big impact on flavors as we come along. So I'll even show you here just color wise. Look at what that does. That literally is 4 weeks. So
Is
it's
it literally?
literally 4 weeks. So
Okay.
it's great on the nose, tasty as it goes down. So,
And that's
but
another question I've got, Jeremy. You mentioned staying in at 33 gallon versus 50. Do they start barreling now in some bigger barrels for a longer flavor profile too?
well, I think you would almost have to, especially if you want to keep your inventory up. I think that the biggest thing that we're going to see is the smaller guys are only making 4 to 5 barrels a year, depend upon their output. I know that even like Glens Creek, where we were at in Louisville, said that they only put out 10 to 12 barrels a month.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Maker's Mark puts out, 400. So these little guys are going to have to be working on something to keep the inventory levels going. You're going to get 240 bottles, 200 to 240 bottles out of a 53-gallon barrel. So you're halving that to 125 bottles in these little barrels. There has to be something to keep it moving.
Price?
Ice would keep it moving because ice makes
Price.
Oh,
Not
price.
ice. Price.
That's an interesting concept, Craig. So does the size of the distillery market the price of the bottle?
I would think so. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on your product. If your product's that good and you can charge a premium, maybe. But if you really want to get it out there, do you make a cheaper version of it and sell it so you can get it moving, but then have bigger barrels for down the road of the same product possibly. Like we were at not Glen, yeah, we were at Glen Creek, right? Is that the one that, yeah, they were still aging their bourbon?
Oh, that was
no, that wasn't Glen
Castle
Creek.
and
That
Key.
was
Castle and Key
Yeah,
was.
thank you. Yeah,
That's what started the vodka conversation.
Right.
Right. So we're still, they were still aging their bourbon, which they said what, next summer?
Yes.
Right.
Are they doing rapid? I mean, I don't know. Are they doing a smaller barrel just to get their product going? I don't know. That's a question.
It is a question. It will be interesting to see, just because they did make such a good gin and such a good vodka that I'm real interested to see how their bourbon comes out.
Yeah.
And if you've never been there, you need to go.
Completely.
Just the grounds themselves was cool.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a very nice place. And this is amidst COVID. We couldn't really see everything. So, I want to go back post COVID so we can go do some tours. I want to be able to go into the barrel house, places like that.
Yeah, most definitely. It is very cool to see. Like I said, after my last week before last trip to Louisville to Maker's Mark, yeah, it was crazy to get to see the inner workings of the places. But the little distilleries, Jimmy, so kind of talk about what were some of the highlights that you saw coming out of, Herman, Missouri, a little town here in the Midwest.
I mean, it's just the fact that you're down there in Herman. How small is it? There's 3 distilleries right there. 4.
Wow.
There's 4 distilleries in a 2-mile radius.
Did you go to all 4?
Now we hit 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
But one of them, the winery owns, one of the big wineries owns the winery. They've got a brewery and a distillery. And they serve it all out of their restaurant that they've got right there next to them as well. But it's the fact that everybody's getting into it, the ability to get in and start doing it, the creativity. It's not at the point the craft beer market is with the craft breweries, but it's starting to get there. It's just bourbon, though, is so distinct, and even whiskeys and ryes are so distinct. Getting to that level that you can compete with them is a lot different than the route beers have gone.
I agree wholeheartedly. As someone who is trying to, build a micro distillation operation, it's much harder and it's much more legality than it is beer or wine. So these guys are up against a lot. So if you have a craft distiller in your area, go support them. Go buy whatever it is that they're putting out, because if you like drinking, it's generally some of the better stuff, because they do take so much time with it as far as the making and the recipes and things like that. Go check them out. I always love hitting the craft ones. I've loved, everything that we've done together is, some of the places that we've went has just been cool as all get out.
I completely agree. And one of the neat things with it is they're willing to talk to you. Not that they're not only going to tours yet.
Don't go.
Well, we had one spot that was, and we won't mention that, but no, for the most part, they're willing to chat. You start talking to them.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Everybody else was as nice as could be. And yeah.
Well, and even,
look, it is what it is.
But look at some of the guys, even like Whiskey Acres, Craig, that, you're a huge fan of. Those people are putting out amazing products with new, innovative, blue popcorn whiskey. I mean, that's awesome.
Which I still can't find. I can't find it anyway. I don't know. I can't find it.
Yeah, another local one to St. Louis, Switchgrass Spirits came out with Rock and Rye, and now they came out with a bourbon. Still 630 here in St. Louis. All of those guys are just.
I want some more of that Still 630. That stuff was good.
Yeah. Speaking of rye, Craig's favorite bourbon, Jack Daniels, has got a rye out now.
Really? I bet it's not bourbon either.
Well, rye's not. Sorry, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know again what you think is Jack Daniels bourbon. Let us know on Twitter or on our Instagram at MMA Bourbon. And it is all brought to you by Bucks Burley Hair Care. Go check them out at bucksburley.com. Tell them that the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society sent you. You can order it on Amazon. Get yours today at bucksburley.com. All right, we are talking mixed martial arts. And I'm just straight out of the box. Incredible MMA fights this past weekend. Kamaru Usman. Who's going to beat him? Let's start there. Simple and to the point. I don't see anybody coming up. Jim Range, what are your thoughts?
I don't either. I don't see anybody that is going to beat him.
Who's that?
I know he's not in Bellator, Craig.
No, I didn't even watch the fights. Sorry, I didn't.
No.
But I mean, I watched some highlights. He's whooped almost everybody in the top 5. That's why Wonder Boy's calling him out right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think Stephen Thompson could beat him. No. But he has a good possibility. I think their styles of fighting are way different than each other. If Stephen Thompson keeps his distance and doesn't let him close, I think it could be a really good fight. But anybody else coming up right now, I don't have anybody at the top of my list. I like to see Gamebred Jorge Masvidal fight him again with a full camp, just because I'm a Jorge Masvidal fan, But I'd like to see that happen with a full camp. I think it'd be a lot different fight.
It's always a different fight after the first time too. Your strategy's different. Yes. You faced them yourself. You're not basing it off and fighting other people. Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
That would be a very interesting fight. Producer Matt actually brought up an interesting one, and that's Israel Adesanya, Stylebender. Give me your thoughts. Is that the matchup to make?
Why? Why now are they fighting at 205?
Yeah.
Him and Jan Blavojevic, or I can't even say his last name. So he's gonna he could possibly have the 185 belt, the 205 belt, and then drop down to 170 and fight for that belt also.
Why not? Let's make him the champ.
I get it, but also I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I really care to see that, honestly.
Fair.
I mean,
it almost becomes the oversaturation that Conor McGregor did.
That, and I'm not a big fan of Adesanya or whatever his name is. I can't even say it. I'm not a huge fan of his.
Okay.
Is he good? Yeah. But I mean, he's been really spotty. Like his last couple of fights really have not been the greatest. Like they didn't really impress me much. You know, being a champion, yeah, I know you're going against the top tier, but what he fought Anderson Silva a while back, and Anderson and he went all 5 rounds with Anderson, didn't he? A 41-year-old, 42-year-old Anderson Silva, and you couldn't put him away. Granted, I understand, but what fight I'd like to see is him and Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall has turned a page also lately. I think that would be a good fight.
Interesting. I like that call out. Also, other mixed martial arts news. It's the return of Bellator. Craig, what's going on? How excited are you?
Showtime. I'm ready to go to work. I'm excited. I'm ready to go to work. We're gonna get the last semifinal match to start off the new channel. We're going to Showtime, or they are going to Showtime, not we. And we're gonna have Pitbull versus Emmanuel Sanchez for whoever wins that goes to the finals, and then they announce the light heavyweight Grand Prix, which is very interesting when you start off the first round with Yo Romero and Anthony Rumble Johnson, which I think that's the fight everybody wants to see anyway.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that.
I'm so excited for that fight. I'm a huge Anthony Johnson fan. I just hope I get to work that show. So it's great news coming that they finally found a permanent home for Bellator, which I figured eventually they would end up at Showtime, being it's a Viacom owned company, and the relationship that Scott Coker had with the head of Showtime for years. So
sure.
I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be good for everybody involved. I think it's gonna be very, very cool. And then they have the Juan Archuleta fighting Sergio Pettis for the 35 belt too in May. So the first 4 fights out, first four shows out are going to be very interesting.
Most importantly, is Scott Coker going to let you keep that mustache?
I don't see Scott Coker usually.
No, fair. All right.
I don't see Scott. I think I've met the man. I think I've said hi to him once in passing, and that's it. Other than that, I don't know the man really. So,
all right, my gotcha question of the week. It has been informally announced the potential fight for Mike Tyson in his next bout is Evander Holyfield. Jimmy Range, give me the thoughts.
Hey, I don't know what to think about boxing right now, and I'm a boxing diehard. It's just, I don't know. I mean, watching Tyson train in that, the guy looks phenomenal. Is it something I want to pay to watch? No.
Didn't you pay for the last one?
Yeah, I did. I won't do it again.
I'm just asking.
Honestly, I was disappointed in last fight. And like I said, watching Tyson, I thought it was already signed, sealed, and delivered that they're fighting. I don't think it's signed yet.
It's not signed yet, but
okay.
It's widely, it's not like the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight
Yeah.
I'm so sick of Jake Paul. I can't stand that dude. I dislike him more than I nothing. I'm gonna shut up. Producer Matt about spit out his drink. He was like, "Come on, Craig, say it."
All right. No, but so with now, from the way that I understand it, the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight is going to be the co-main to the Tyson and Evander Holyfield fight.
Yeah. And
which one draws in the most people?
the Jake Paul fight will. Just because he's a YouTuber or whatever the fuck he is.
I think producer Matt agrees.
But here's the thing. He's gonna get paid. Ben Askren's gonna probably get the biggest payday of his life, and he's probably gonna knock out Ben Askren. I mean, I'm just being honest.
I said that last time, and everybody's like,
I don't want to
"What?"
see that happen. I don't want to see that happen. I'm sorry. Don't want to see that happen.
What's that do to MMA?
Oh, it's a terrible mark
nothing.
on MMA. It's a terrible mark on MMA.
No, it's not.
Absolutely it is.
How is it? How? Tell me
Because
how it is.
Because they're going to bill Ben Askren whenever he's in this as the former Bellator champ that you work for. And they're going to make it out that he was this big giant guy. And then all of a sudden he's knocked out by a YouTuber.
Ooh, okay.
But
the thing is, nobody's going to mention he was a wrestler. Nobody's going to mention he had the best takedown percentage in MMA because it's not going to matter because none of these kids care.
Right. I understand that. Well, then why don't he come over and do an MMA fight next and see what it's really like? What real fighting is about.
That's not where the
because
money's
at.
Where the money's at. Money's in boxing, Craig. It always has been, always will be.
Don't care. Don't give a fuck. I don't care.
On this show.
I don't. You might as well just put explicit on every one of them because I'm not gonna. I'm gonna talk like a human. I'm gonna talk like a human being.
That's absolutely perfect.
I don't think it does anything to MMA because one, Ben Askren is retired from MMA. Yes, he is tied to it. I get it. He was the former Bellator champion. Wasn't he the former one champion also?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, whoop-de-doo.
Okay, but now you've got a guy who makes dumb YouTube videos with Pokemon cards, who knocked out a 2 freaking sanctioned, I mean, we're talking a 2 promotion champion.
Yeah.
And you're saying that Jake Paul is going to put him out.
And I'm not saying he will. I said he probably will.
You said he will.
He probably will. I honestly, who knows? I don't think everybody thinks that Jake Paul has all this power and what's he fought? A fucking an NBA player?
And evidently a big pack of Pokemon cards.
Okay, and then
but that's the worst part about it, Craig. He's a brawler that has no boxing experience, and if he does it, that makes it even worse.
I'm
one thing beating a pro boxer. It's another thing beating a professional fighter.
He needs to go beat off, is what he needs to go do. You fucking douchebag is what they are. Both them boys.
Hey, guess what? This was Craig's first week back to work.
Absolutely.
He gets carte blanche he gets the pass.
All right, Jimmy Range, what happens in this fight? Who is the winner?
Which one?
Die from Borden.
Fair. Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. Number one, are you stoked for it? Number two, who takes the win?
I'm not stoked for it. I think Tyson wins it.
Why?
I think he's just going to keep going at him.
I
don't know how much Holyfield's trained or anything.
Evander still looks pretty good.
He does too, but so does Tyson.
Yeah, no. But
and I think Tyson still has the power. And he's got his head screwed on more than he did last time they fought.
He smokes a lot of pot, so that really usually
probably mellowed him.
Yeah, less cocaine, more pot. No, I'm interested in it just because it's not Mike Tyson. Like I said, I've said it before. I freaking love Mike Tyson. Always have.
Yep.
I think he's that's why make it an exhibition? I understand why. I get it. Why, but I'm so sick of hearing exhibition and nobody wins. I want a winner. I want a loser. This is why I watch this.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I watch fights for a winner and a loser. That's it. I don't care.
Wasn't George Foreman in his 50s when he won a belt?
Absolutely.
Was he that old?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was over 50 when he went back and won it. Yes.
Okay.
So why can't these guys?
Okay, let me give you this scenario. Tyson versus one of these new guys coming up, or not new guys, but like the Gypsy King or
Oh, that's been talked about.
see, I don't know. I don't watch.
I understand, but I cannot see Mike Tyson still being able to step in the ring with somebody like Deontay Wilder.
No.
It's a different game now.
And Wilder's game is gone right now.
It's true.
Well, isn't Wilder? Isn't he lost like those last 3 or 4 in a row, or got knocked out? Wilder?
No.
No.
No. Well, I don't know. I'm just asking.
No. Well, I mean, we're gonna see the trilogy with him, I think, in the Gypsy King. So that.
Okay. And they won. They're 1-1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I don't know. It'll be fun to see. Producer Matt, Jake Paul or Ben Askren? Thumbs up, Jake Paul. Thumbs down, Ben Askren.
Just speak.
Wow. He also takes Jake Paul. That hurts my soul. All right.
It hurts all of our soul. How do you think it feels saying it?
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think on Twitter at MMA Bourbon, on Instagram. Again, it's been a great show tonight. Jimmy Range, final thoughts.
Looking forward to be back together, doing it in one room. But I'm looking forward to fights being back. I'm excited. Nemesis is back this weekend here, Pro-Am show in St. Louis. Just really looking forward to everything being back. All
right, Craig Nasello, final thoughts.
Jimmy got really weird there with his final thoughts. Everybody being in one room. No, just kidding, Jimmy. Come say hi to me at Nemesis this weekend, maybe. Just keep your distance, like 6 foot.
Or
I'm
further.
Just kidding. Or further, yeah. No. Yep. See you this weekend, Matt. I will definitely see you. Maybe. You usually hide the whole time. I never see him because he's always behind a computer. So, all right, guys. I have nothing else. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we appreciate the support. Hopefully, we will have our bourbon out sooner than later.
Darn right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It has been another great show. If you have any questions, let us know on Twitter at MMA Bourbon. Let us know, is Jack Daniel's bourbon, yes or no, all over the socials, and we'll see you next time right here at the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society.
Cheers, everybody.